I would like to discuss President Joe Biden's new vaccine mandates, as well as give a response to the mindless outrage that has been brought upon due to these specific mandates. However, before I do, I want to show you a short clip of him giving some sort of a briefing about said mandates. Take a look.
We need to do more. This is not about freedom or personal choice. It's about protecting yourself and those around you, the people you work with, the people you care about, the people you love. My job as president is to protect all Americans. So tonight, I'm announcing that the Department of Labor is developing an emergency rule to require all employers with 100 or more employees that together employ over 80 million workers to ensure their workforces are fully vaccinated or show a negative test at least once a week. Some of the biggest companies are already requiring this. United Airlines, Disney, Tyson's Food, and even Fox News. The bottom line, we're going to protect vaccinated workers from unvaccinated coworkers. We're going to reduce the spread of COVID-19 by increasing the share of the workforce that is vaccinated in businesses all across America. My plan will extend the vaccination requirements that I previously issued in the healthcare field. Already, I've announced we'll be requiring vaccinations of all nursing home workers who treat patients on Medicare and Medicaid because I have that federal authority. Tonight, I'm using that same authority to expand that to cover those who work in hospitals, home health care facilities, or other medical facilities, a total of 17 million healthcare workers. If you're seeking care at a health facility, you should be able to know that the people treating you are vaccinated. Simple, straightforward, period. Next, I will sign an executive order that will now require all executive branch federal employees to be vaccinated, all. And I've signed another executive order that will require federal contractors to do the same. If you want to work with the federal government and do business with us, get vaccinated.
Now, there has been a plethora of individuals, right-wing, conservative, like radio show hosts. I know this is a rapid, abrupt pivot here, but I'm going to do it anyway, that have passed away from COVID-19. And, they're under the assumption, and a lot of regular people are under the assumption, that these elected right-wing leaders are, these champions of freedom. They're against vaccine mandates of any kind. They're against the vaccine, it may seem in some cases. And of course, they're anti-mask. But allow me to tell you, if you don't know, these right-wing leaders that play into the feelings of regular people that may consider themselves to be conservative, they are all vaccinated. Every single one of them, they're all vaccinated. And so if you're a person that's iffy about getting vaccinated, I want you to ask yourself, why are the leaders that you may look to for guidance and what have you and information, why are they all vaccinated? Is it because they know something that you don't? No, not really. They just know that the virus is real, and a lot of those people are very old and aren't in the best condition health-wise, and so they get vaccinated because they don't want to die from a rampant COVID-19 virus. Okay? Now, a lot of people are saying that these new mandates are coming because Joe Biden wants to pressure the Republicans into coming out in full force to be anti-vaccine. And that isn't a bad way to look at it, but I do think, however, you're clawing a bit too deep. If you think about it, think about what's happening here. The Biden administration inherited a very serious problem. Not that the previous administration caused the problem, but the problem arose through, through things that couldn't be controlled by anybody, right? And so now we're dealing with a heavy pandemic. And if the Biden administration can't quell the pandemic, can't put this to somewhat of an end going into the midterms and even the next presidential election, that's what they're going to get hit with. You didn't stop COVID. That's the one thing more than anything else, they want to be able to say that they did was they put a stop to COVID, they stopped the Delta variant from running rampant, and whatever operation that they're doing right now is a success. And that they gave the vaccines to millions of people, and they effectively saved the country, quote unquote. Even though this entire thing has been bobbled by every institution, every level of power there is in this country. Need I remind you that only 53% of all people in this country are vaccinated. And so they want to be able to say that. And if they don't say that, of course, the other side will hit back and say, look at the catastrophe that they caused by not stopping COVID. Look at all the lives that were lost. Now, of course, they don't give a shit about any of that, but it speaks to the feelings of people, and it will garner them votes. Okay. Also, I believe that Biden is at an end here. He has pretty much tried everything that they could try, and now it's time to be a bit tougher. And they're doing just that. In regards to the dictatorship that people are now under the impression that they're living under, or certain groups of people, I don't understand where they're getting this notion from. In regards to the workers, nobody's forcing workers to get vaccinated. They said, okay, well, you can get vaccinated, or you can provide a negative test once a week. As I stated before, is that inconvenient? Yes. Do you want to know how to get rid of that inconveniency? Get the vaccine, which protects you from a killer disease. That's how you get rid of that inconveniency. But if you don't, then you'll just be inconvenienced for however long into the future. I don't know how long that will prolong. I guess until we finally crush this thing. But it's what it is. And it's incredibly just mind-boggling to me how, because I remember before I went to university, before I went to college, I had to get some shots. I don't remember exactly what they were, but I didn't ask any questions. I didn't really care. I just knew I had to do it, and so I did it. And I went on to school, and I'm still here. I'm still kicking. Nothing's wrong with me. I seem to be perfectly fine in regards to my health, and everything's peachy. But for some reason, in regards to this new vaccine that has been heavily politicized, that being the COVID vaccine, certain portion of the population are just not willing to get on board. And it's incredibly troubling. And this argument was brought to me by individuals online that I didn't really think about. So the people that are anti-vax say that you're impeding on their freedom by asking them to get a vaccine. But when you think about it, the people that are anti-vax are also impeding on the freedom of those that did receive the vaccine, because now they're being forced to still live within this pandemic when situations could be much better if people would allow themselves to be vaccinated. You know, the vaxxed are forced to continue to wear masks, among other things, and take precautions that they otherwise wouldn't if the unvaccinated would become vaccinated, like the individuals that are. So there's many different ways to look at this. And I also want to say that there is no cure-all for this problem that results in universal acceptance and everybody being happy. There is no one solution that everybody supports undeniably and nobody is against it. That's false. That's false. And the people that are acting like there is a solution such as that, they're just bad faith actors. Okay, there is no way, not even the former president, not the president before him, there is no individual that could have came into this COVID situation and handled it and passed with flying colors with everybody in the country approving of what they've done. Okay, there's many different ways to handle it. You know, there's the pay people to stay at home. There's the universal mask people. There's so many different opinions regarding this. And of course, our journey has been completely bobbled, and the CDC has made tons of mistakes. The Biden administration has made tons of mistakes. The previous administration has made tons of mistakes. But if we can deal with those, if we can recognize that we've made mistakes and just continue to try to better our own situation so that we may make it out of this. Because need I remind you, there was a pre-pandemic life. I feel like some people have just kind of settled in and accepted the fact that this is their new reality, when in fact, there was a different reality before this one where social distancing rules didn't apply, where it was unheard of to wear a mask to the grocery store and all the rest. Need I remind you of that reality? However, I must say, and this is probably what troubles me the most out of this entire situation, there are so many issues that are percolating throughout this country, so many issues that need attention, so many things that need to be addressed, so many people that are hurting due to these specific issues and situations that we're all dealing with. And you can see it if you look, it's right in front of your face. Inequality worsens by the day. There are worker strikes across this country, labor movements that we haven't seen in decades. Workers are coming together to strike, to protest to fight for healthcare, wages, better situations, benefits, all the rest that they so very deserve. We're headed towards a climate disaster that our elected leaders are deciding to neglect. They're turning their head to pretend like it's not even there. Okay, we're trying to avoid nuclear war with other sovereign nations. We just ended the war in Afghanistan. We need to pull the troops out of everywhere else that they're stationed as we continue to be hostile to different countries and what have you. There's so many issues. The minimum wage is still not a living wage. Millions of people are without health care or are underinsured. I mean, it's so many issues. It can't be understated that we're currently facing in this country, but it seems like the one that everybody cares about at the moment is whether or not you should take a liquid substance that can save you from a viral disease. That's incredibly sad, and that's incredibly unfortunate.